Okay, welcome everyone to Celebrity Josh, the YouTube show and the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my face. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can't, which is probably better for you. And today I am with Guillaume Liossorgues. Is that how you pronounce your
Liossorgues,
name?
yeah. It's a
Liossorgues?
French name. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Yes,
that's
it
all
is.
right. I took French immersion in school, so I should be able to say that. Let's see. Let's try again. Guillaume Liossorgues. Is that it?
Exactly. Wow.
Look at
All those
it.
years, all those years work for you.
Well, that's what I was thinking of recently, actually. From senior kindergarten to grade 6, and then I took more French in grade 7 and 8, and then some in university. Oh, no, there was high school and then university. So that's a lot of time, and I've literally haven't used it since. And so, but then I realized all the stuff I learned, I'm not really using. I'm not learning. I'm not doing anything in advertising right now. Makes you. Anyways, that's a whole philosophical discussion on what is the point of life. Um, and right now, I am sitting on my front porch, or my parents' front porch, because we're in the pandemic. What's the date today? May the 5th, 2020.
May the 5th.
And yeah, so things are starting to open up in the pandemic, but I'm still staying at my parents'. And I just told my dad I should do I have to do an interview, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna play bridge on my computer," and my little desk is set up beside his desk, and I'm like, I don't want to interfere with him, and I find it awkward sitting right beside somebody talking. Then it's like, are they listening to me? I don't. So I just came out on the porch to see how this would go, but who does this show outside? Bill Maher's been, doing his talk show in the backyard for some reason. So that's what I'm going to do too. We're winging it. I think it's all about just doing it casually. Like, it doesn't matter exactly your location or the mic quality. You're just talking to people, putting out content. That's correct, right? It's okay to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that
Okay.
people are more interested in the content than in the quality of production.
Excellent. I like that. So just to introduce you, and yeah, sometimes I start off my show with, "Oh, my sponsor," or whatever, but I don't have any sponsors. Like, I'll say my own website or something. But we can talk. We can talk about that'll be the topic today, and we'll talk about what I should be calling out as my way of making money from this. So I'm with Guillaume, and So I'm in Ottawa right now, and you're in Toronto,
Correct.
but you're from France,
Correct.
and we met on LinkedIn. And you are working on an app. I guess that's your main thing, right? Your app.
Yeah, it's been my life for the last year and a half. It's called getapy.com, which is a mentoring platform, which enables mentees and mentors to connect and build up a relationship, a trustworthy relationship, for them to increase their skill set, grow, and tackle challenges.
Cool. Now I was wondering when I saw it, I thought, oh, it's called Get Appy, but it's Get APY. What does APY stand for?
For happy, but
Oh, Appy.
I didn't have the money for happy, so I
Yeah.
took the next best thing.
Really? But then
Yeah,
why do you pronounce it APY? Shouldn't it be Get Appy?
because there is saying it and typing it, and if I start telling people go to gethappy.com, they will end up on something else.
Oh, okay. So for the purposes of saying it out loud right now, you were saying it's getapy.com. But normally you would say, oh, it's my app. It's called Appy.
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
And that's how a French person would say happy. It's like, I am so happy, right? Like
I'm
that? Or
so happy, exactly. Happy, be happy.
all right. Well, see, the French immersion finally paid off. I understand the name of the app. And so yeah, so that's well, how long have you been in Toronto from France?
7 years. It's my 8th year this year.
Oh wow. Okay. And you're
Yeah.
liking it, obviously?
I married one, so I better like it. Married
Yeah.
a Canadian, have a kid who is Canadian, so I better like it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was talking to a woman I did a video call with last week who's I was living in Paris and met some guy who was in Paris for law school or something, and I think he was from New York, and she married him and moved to New York, and now she's a casting director there. Seems crazy to leave Paris. Like, that's where people go for vacation. It's like amazing.
It's exactly it. Vacation.
Right. Okay.
Once you're done, you're done. You just want
Yeah,
to go back home.
I was there for a week when I was 20. I still think about it a lot, though. It's funny, like all the things I did when I was 20, like I'm still rehashing the week I spent on Frosh Week, like in university, or the 1 month I spent in Europe. But then time here, I don't know what I did today or yesterday or for the past 10 years. It's amazing how precious time is when you're young. You do a new thing every day. Maybe it's about traveling as well. When you travel, you have more experiences every day.
The even worst part is think about your 20s and all the stuff you could have done more.
Yes, no.
It's even worse.
Well, no, I do think about that every day. Like I think about, I just went for, it was the year right after second year university. My friend Loïc was an exchange student from Normandy, France. I went to visit him for a week, and then we got sick of each other. And so I went down to Nice and met these girls and went down to Barcelona, and then I went back up to Paris for a week. But, what if I had done that every summer or every month? Or what if I had just stayed there? Or right after university traveled around? Like for 10 years, I could have done amazing things. And then even in my 30s, maybe I could have done something interesting. But I didn't. Yeah, like I've basically got like 2 months that I keep rehashing in my head. It's very depressing. And I can't figure out a way to still... Actually, it's funny because I was feeling like I've never been more miserable in my life. And so I was Googling age 47, or I searched on Facebook to see if there was a group for people my age or something. And I found an article somebody posted, says literally science shows, and I thought this was a fake article. I thought it's one of those things where it fits in your information to whatever it is, like, are you 50 and looking for dates or whatever. But it said the most miserable time in anyone's life, like on average, is the age 47.2. That's like life is a curve, and that's your lowest point, and then you start getting, I guess, a bit happier after that. But I'm like, oh my God. So
this is bad.
Yeah, but I guess that's on average. I guess, like, I assume that, say you're like, I don't know, you suddenly hit it big in Hollywood at 47. Wouldn't you be happier than you were a couple years earlier? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
No? So everybody's miserable. I keep trying to think of, okay, The Rock is my age, Justin Trudeau is my age. Are they happy? I guess they're as happy as they can be, but I guess maybe nobody can.
Have you seen the age, how Justin Trudeau has aged between the time he came to office and now? I don't know if it's the beard or the situation or what, but it doesn't look like a fun job to be prime minister.
Well, they always, show pictures of U.S. presidents, like when they start and what they end, and oh, look, now they've got white hair, they look so much older. But I think it's also, it's time passes. 4 years is 4 years. Like Trudeau. Okay, you grow a beard, so we've all got some white in our beards now, or whatever. So he's gonna look a bit older. He also, when he was running and stuff, like he had longer hair. Like he sort of had to do more of a grown-up haircut, and then he had to, look more professional. So he's not having as much fun. But yeah, I'm sure it's a tough job. I think I've got I don't have any job, and I think that's tough. But actually having to do something every day and having people attack you, like I'm already afraid anything I say on this podcast or on Facebook, people are going to attack me for. So I can't even imagine.
For what? You're stuck at home. Thank God you're with your parents. Mm-hmm. Why would they attack you on this one? Oh, on mine, I mean, so far.
Oh, maybe not. But I mean, just if you post anything political on Facebook, or if you post, I don't know, like, okay, even last month I was just posting what did I post? A picture of myself. I mentioned that I went to the grocery store once or something, and everybody was piling on, saying, "Oh my God, you're not social distancing. What are you doing? You shouldn't be out." Or if I went for a walk, they're like, "Why?" People texting me, "Why are you going for a walk?" I'm like, "What is wrong with people?" Everybody likes to just spend their time bothering others.
This is a bit of BS. I live in Toronto, next to the Up Express, going from Pearson to Union, and there is a path where there's no cars and there's people every single day of every single hour running, walking, bicycling, whatever you want, and that's BS. Everyone is out.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe it was different a month ago, but for sure everybody's out. I mean, it's whatever. There's no rules here. I mean, I guess there's sort of rules the government's making, but nobody knows what's going on. It's basically, and that's what you realize in life. Like, there's no, as much as people like to believe the government is there to take care of you, we're all on our own. The government is just a bunch of people that are looking out for themselves too. If you get sick, you get sick. Like, there's no magic, God that's here. Well, I mean, if you believe in God, there is. But yeah, it's, you know what? If you want to go out and get sick, you can. If you want to stay in, do your thing. But people like to criticize other people. I feel like nobody wants to sort of just address their own issues and control what they can. People like to sit there and attack other people for who they're dating. Like there's Zach Braff. He's like 45 and he has a girlfriend who's like 24, and she just posted happy birthday and everybody attacked her for like, ugh. And him, it's like, it's so creepy. It's like, why is this anybody's business?
Right now, people have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's true. So it's especially bad that people are just sitting at home bothering other people online. Hopefully it's not really much better in the normal times. People still sit there attacking others. But I think what you got to do if you're going to do like a show like mine, or if you're going to post on social media, if you're going to do anything, you got to sort of shut that out. You can't let people affect you, because otherwise you'll never do anything. There's always going to be jerks out there. But even Ariana Grande, I was just watching a show, like the Philip DeFranco show, was talking about how she's really upset about some girl who dresses like her and does TikTok videos. And like, if you're like a superstar multimillionaire and you're still bothered by people sort of talking about you online, I mean, what hope is there for regular people? I don't know. I need to get happy.
You should, absolutely should, by the way. Complex times, people have nothing to do. They should be focused on their self and their families, and somehow they are more focused on what's going on in their timelines on social media. It's so easy to attack people when you are protected in your house, behind your screen, and so on. Hey, I'm opening an open window again, but you shouldn't look after that. And on top of that, why are people posting? Seriously, why do I need to know that you went for a walk or you went to the supermarket? That's another question.
Well, my mom was always criticizing me for that, because like until recently, I was sort of trying to do my Instagram stories like every day, and I would post. Like, it was part of it was kind of like a diary, so that I can look back one day and look at what I did. Part of it is to feel less lonely. At least if I share where I am and what I'm doing, I feel like other people can see it. But she kept saying, like, why are you wasting your time? You know, you shouldn't be mixing your family stuff with your business stuff. But I was like, well, no, it's more, you know, with the internet and stuff, your personality is your business. And then my dad's like, well, you're making any money from this? I'm like, no, but there's sort of a long-term plan, I guess. The more followers you have, the more influence you have, maybe you can monetize that. So I don't know. But then I'm like, well, some people spend hours watching Netflix. And so if I spend some time making videos about what I'm doing, why is that not valid? I think all of it is sort of this desire to, you know, make your mark in the world. Like, that's why you write a diary or something, and to say, you know, I was here, this is what I'm doing. You want to feel like you exist, and that's why people are posting. I mean, obviously there's a human desire for it,
which is incredible as in terms of situation, because I remember when I was a kid, to answer the question, how are you going to leave a mark in this world from your work or whatever you do, everyone was like, I'm going to work for NASA, or I would invent the new cure for cancer or whatever. Today it's all about me, and I'll be hated if anyone sees this video. But come on, man, there is so much more that you can do without anyone knowing it, but it will have a huge impact.
Yeah, I mean, I guess partly it's more difficult to, you know, go work for NASA or land on the moon or something. It's easier to say, here's my lunch. This is what I ate. So I think people tend to go for the lowest common denominator, or whatever the simplest answer is. I don't know. And at this point, like we were saying, you're saying, look how much I could have done in my 20s. And now I'm like, well, what is there left? Like, I start checking off, okay, well, it's too late for me to become a professional figure skater or any kind of professional athlete. I'm not going to play James Bond, most likely. It's probably too late to be on Saturday Night Live. You start going, okay, what is there left to achieve? And it's like, well, I can post what I ate for lunch. Nobody can stop me from doing that.
Clearly.
And then I'm on these newsletters from these companies that send out promotions that influencers can sign up for or something, and one of them just wrote an article like, here's 20 influencers over 50 who are still doing it, and I'm like, oh, that's inspiring, but also depressing that it has to be a special article about people over 50 that can still post on the internet. But I guess it's kind of, the internet's kind of like any kind of pop culture. Like, it's always going to be young singers that make it big because people like young, beautiful people, and that's the beginning of their career. And then they can stay famous later on because there's nostalgia. It's like, oh, it's the Beatles. I remember, but Paul McCartney couldn't start now at age 80 or whatever and become famous, most likely, because people would be like, Sylvester Stallone wouldn't become an action hero at 75 or whatever. Like, it's more that because they've been doing it forever, they can still do it.
They have a brand. They do have a brand.
Yeah.
And they entered the market fresh. Now they are banking on that brand after all those years of work.
Yeah. So that's the question, whether it's still, everybody says it's never too late. You can still work on things, but I don't know. But on the other hand, well, I don't know. I guess you just got to do it. I mean, take it day by day, and you could write a book, you could do whatever. But also, I guess I've realized, like, recently, like, I thought I wanted to travel around and be a digital nomad, but I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not 20. I can't go to Europe and meet people in youth hostels anymore. So now I'm like, oh, I should have settled down. I should have a family and kids. But I think everybody's got a different path. I've been reaching out to a lot of old friends from university and high school, and most people are married with kids, but there's still a few people that didn't have kids, or people who are divorced now and have grown kids. And
now is your time.
Well, you mean
now
to
is your
snap
time.
up the divorced people?
Get the divorced one, get the grown-up kid, so you don't have to handle all the stuff that I am going through. And oh my God, you're going to the university. I'm so glad for you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I know. I mean, when I was my age, or when my dad was my age that I am now, I had just finished university and whatever, and that was it. So that should be the stage I'm in. And I know it's not easy for people with kids. I just this girl Marie-Pierre just dropped by. She was buying a bike helmet for her kid nearby, and we went for a walk for a block. And she's like, it's tough. She's got 3 kids, and she's trying to get them, doing their homework, and they're not doing it. And I'm like, yeah, it's just. But I think, from my seeing it from the other perspective now, I realize that, in any of that trouble raising kids and stuff, it pales next to the pain of not having kids, not having done it, and just sort of being eternally alone in the world. I was supposed to be on this podcast. Some woman I was talking to does a podcast for women who didn't have kids, and she was like, hey, it would be interesting to have a male perspective. But then she emailed me yesterday. She said, you know what, this podcast is too much work, and she's already got too many guests. And she polled her audience, and they said they want to hear more from moms who are trying to be single moms or do it on their own. And so that's what they're interested in. But maybe one day she'll want to talk to a guy. And I'm like, ugh. So I'm alone, and now I can't even talk to a podcast about being alone. So that's a double.
That. It's we are almost out of confinement, and it might be your next project.
Well, the problem is I like the confinement because it means I'm not missing anything. Everybody's sitting at home alone right now. And
everyone is miserable, therefore you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's not that I want people to be miserable, but it helps a bit. Like, even knowing that high school kids can't have their prom, and university kids, well, they're stuck at home now too. I'm like, okay, good. So even if I was 20, I couldn't be doing anything right now. That's the only thing that's keeping me sane. But I guess with your app, then it gives people purpose. Like, people who have done something professionally can now mentor younger people, which depresses me too. I still, in my head, I'm like, no, I'm the mentee. I want to learn from people. But now
that's the beauty of mentoring. I don't know if you know about the concept of reversed mentoring. Regardless of your age, if you consider that every single day is an opportunity for you to learn, you will be open to this learning, and therefore you will always figure out something to learn. For example, I know that you have been into advertisement / you try to pursue a career as an actor and voice actor. You have a very specific set of knowledge and a tool set that you can teach others, but at the same time, I'm not sure you know much about manufacturing, and that might be something that you would be interested in for any reason. And therefore, even at your age, even at your level of expertise, you have the capability to listen. And if you are willing to listen, then you will learn something that might feed your own play. Like if your thing is about podcasting, if you understand something about manufacturing, it might pop, and you can apply it to podcasting. And that's the beauty of learning, because it's incremental. So the more you learn, the more you can, the more you learn, the more you will make connections between what you know and what you will discover. And from there, creativity will happen, and you might discover something new to do or to leverage in the future.
Cool. How did you what's your background? How did you come up with this idea for the app?
I created a company 2 years ago, and every single day we were like, what if we could press a button and talk to someone who is not a professional coach, who would like us a little bit with my partners and willing to help us, and who would have concentrated this ton of knowledge and provide it to us in 2 hours instead of doing 2 months of research.
Right.
And the more we went through that, the more we realized that, hey, you know what? It doesn't exist. The way we think about it doesn't exist. Let's see if people would be interested. So we started contacting people we are looking up to, and on LinkedIn or by phone or by contacts and so on. And they were like, yeah, I'm in a position in my life where I want to give back to the community. Why? Because someone at some point gave me this opportunity to learn something new, and that made me progress, evolve into what I became. So yes, definitely, because I recognize the hand that was given to me, I want to give my hand to someone that is willing to learn. That's how we started.
Cool. And then you had to create a website for this, or is it more, it's not that complicated, you just sort of, it's about connecting people or whatever?
Super complicated. Especially when you don't come from the tech world. Anyone who would tell you that building a website is not complicated is either lying or is expecting you to spend a ton of money. The reason why is because if you're not a tech individual, you don't have this background into best practices at first. And second, you will always, if you do the exact copy of an existing website, that's easy. If you start trying to innovate, then you need custom stuff that needs to be built, that needs to be fine-tuned. You make mistakes. What you think is not what you say, and what you say is not what is being implemented. So there are multiple layers of failures that you can go through, and you will fail, but that's fine. You need to stand up again and go back to it.
So you had to build a website, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the website, our own website to manage the website, and all that is in between.
Wow. Okay. And did you hire developers, or do you guys do that yourself?
We do it ourselves. I am very fortunate to have found a partner, a technical partner, who came with an entire team of computer engineers. I wouldn't say full stack developers. I would call them computer engineers, because they are really good at what they do, and they have this level of expertise. Yeah, that's how we did it.
So a computer engineer is above a full stack developer?
Computer engineer has a degree.
Okay. All right. So
not only he's a full stack, but he also has the degree to say, hey, I have the curriculum to say that I'm the perfect guy for you.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So you built your website, and now you're looking for mentors and mentees. And so is there anything we should be saying to promote this, to get more people to sign up or whatever? Not that how do I benefit from this? But it doesn't matter. I'm helping the world. Yeah.
correct. No, how to promote it? I have no clue because it's self-explanatory, meaning that if you want to grow professionally, if you are facing challenges, we have someone that can help you without you spending $2,000 or $3,000 on courses that are made for everyone and never relate to your particular situation.
Yeah. I think people. I mean, I find it's funny. There's a woman with two little kids just pulled up in front of the house here, and there's a man. Like I don't even know who the neighbors are here, but there's a whole family thing happening outside now. God, I wish I had kids. But then if I had kids, I'd probably be like, oh, why did I? You know what? See, if I had kids, maybe I would have been like, oh, I could have been on Saturday Night Live, but I didn't do it because I had kids. But now I know that I didn't do anything, so now I can go back in time and go, no, okay, I'll choose the second path. Anyways, what were we talking about? Helping the world, signing up for the website. What was the last thing you said there?
I said that if you are thinking about buying a course that is made for everyone.
Right. I was going to say, because, yeah, like there's so many courses I could take online, but I would rather just call someone up and say, listen, just talk to me for an hour. Let me ask questions. Let me get this straight from you. And I also realized that a lot of times people want to hear from someone specific. Like I was listening to a podcast, what was it, like with Pat Flynn or something, who talks about his website is Smart Passive Income. And he talks about how he makes money passively online. And he was always referring people to other courses, or maybe it was Jessica Stansbury. One of them was saying that she's always referring courses to people, and they're like, no, but I want to learn from you, because for whatever reason they like you, or so sometimes people just want to hear from a particular person. So maybe that's why it would be useful to team up with a mentor as well, because then you're not just getting some generic course, you're getting specific information, and also from somebody that you want to talk to. Can you hear the kid?
Yes, I can, but that's fine.
That's all right.
Think about a classroom for students either at university or at school. If they have not been replaced by robots or videos, there might be a reason for that. Okay, you need to check on them, but also
yeah. Well, that's the thing with you're saying, like with technology, we could have done it. Everybody could be doing it online, but there's a reason we send kids to learn from individual people, kind of thing, like teachers.
Absolutely. And not only that, when you get out of school, I don't know about you, but I cannot picture myself having done all the jobs that I have done in the past without having a manager, team leader, or anyone helping me understand what I was going to do or what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, it's useful. I mean, I guess that's what humanity is. That's why.
That's why we're human. We are social animals. We need to interact.
And that's how humanity has advanced. Like if we were all born and had to learn everything on our own, we'd still be living in caves. So it's, we build on each other and somebody else learns something else. And, a lot of times I feel like, I should be able to do something on my own. I shouldn't become an Amazon affiliate. I should build my own Amazon website. But you can't, like, no one person can do all that stuff. You have to build on what other people have done. And so, it sounds like
you need a team.
Yeah. I think somebody was saying to me, my dad was saying this, but also some woman online was saying to me this week, just, it looks like you try to do everything on your own, Josh. Like you should have people that you team up with to, it doesn't have to be just you doing the podcast or whatever I'm trying to do. It would be good to have people, but it's hard. Like I had a comedy troupe when I was in my 20s and we were always fighting. And then, some of the guys started dating my girlfriends and stuff. And it's like, there's always issues.
Yeah.
Yoko breaks up the Beatles or whatever. So it's harder once you introduce other people to it, but I guess you can maybe get farther that way. Okay, so people should go to getapy.com, and if you're a mentor, you can sign up to mentor people, make a bit of money from it, but also feel like you're helping out. And then if you're somebody who wants to learn about things, then you can request. So you go on the site, do you request a specific person, or do you request a topic? Then you say,
I would strongly suggest to any mentees that are looking to find help either you're a business owner or anyone, no job, with a job, whatever, I would strongly suggest you to carefully review the profile of those mentors to see if the way they present themselves and the skills that they have matches the challenges. So that requires a little bit of work on your end as a mentee to understand what really do you want. Do you want someone to talk to? That's easy. You can take anyone on the list. Um, if instead you are really facing a particular challenge slash you really have particular questions, this kid is on fire.
Yeah, it's like they're just running around there. Woo! He's got a Spider-Man hat too. That's cool. I'm jealous.
So yeah, if you're really having a challenge, a particular challenge, you are almost losing your job or whatever, then we know that we have specific mentors that have the skills to bring you back up and build an action plan with them to solve that challenge.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can just chat with anyone if you just want to chat. But if you got a specific challenge, you find somebody who's going to help you with that challenge. Sounds pretty good. Has anybody even started doing this yet, or you're still sort of building the team?
So yeah, we do have multiple mentors, a few connections have been created so far. Okay,
Oh, they're making too much noise here. Actually, I can.
It's for you, for your recording, my friend.
Oh, I don't care. I don't know. I mean,
okay.
I was. You can sort of see there's a bunch of people next door. I don't know who lives next door, but I guess this is how we're doing things in quarantine now. We're doing things. We're doing things rough and tumble. I don't know. It's hard to know what.
Are you on the move now?
Well, I'm on the move. I'm just walking around on the porch there. They're just sitting there chatting. I mean, probably nobody's still listening at this point. It's been 31 minutes. But it's hard to know what this podcast is about as well, too, because it's like, if we had said, okay, we're going to talk for 20 minutes about how to avoid scams online, and then I could put a specific topic or whatever. But I find that, I don't know, I'm hoping that maybe this just provides something that people can listen to. Maybe they're going for a walk for half an hour and they're like, yeah, I like Josh's voice, and it's kind of like listening to a friend, and who's he talking to today and what's their discussion. It's like listening in on a phone call. And so hopefully that provides people some value, because I know a lot of podcasts are it's this specific thing. It's how to make money online, or it's gossip about movies or whatever. But this is sort of, I don't know, I'm just sort of meandering conversations with people is what I'm doing.
In pursuing absolute value, so that's the keyword that I've been listening to, hearing for the last couple of years. Bring value. Maybe people, especially right now, just need to be distracted.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, because everybody says bring value. Who keeps talking about, is it Gary Vee, who's always like, you got to bring value to the customer? Okay, I guess that makes sense if you have a specific business and you're like, okay, I'm giving you marketing tips, and then I'm trying to sell my marketing services. But I'm hoping just to entertain people. And then, I like that idea, just some distraction. Like my mom goes for walks every day and listens to audio books of Charles Dickens and stuff, and that's what she likes listening to. And but Joe Rogan does a show that seems to be just general discussions with anyone. It's like Elon Musk, it's Robert Downey Jr., it's Tom Green, or what, so. And then on YouTube, they post little clips, like it happens to be, they went on this topic, and that's an interesting thing. But I don't think they're going into it with specific topics like all the time. They're just here. We're having an interesting discussion with someone. So that's what this could be. Distracting people. I think that's okay. And hopefully, here's the thing, because I think people follow people that they tend to like or they're interested in the way they think. So if people kind of get used to Joe Rogan's thoughts and his sense of humor, they'll listen to him, and they want to hear who he talks to or what he says to anybody. So if I become that for someone, then it doesn't really matter necessarily what we're talking about, because it's if I'm talking about what's on my mind that day or how I'm feeling or things I'm trying to figure out, then that's a valid thing to listen to, right?
Absolutely. We were talking about that when yesterday or 2 days ago regarding distracting through presenting ordinary people on an ongoing basis.
Right. Yeah. I think it was just yesterday we were talking
Okay.
off the record, and because you were saying, because I'm calling myself Celebrity Josh because I figured it's easier to spell than Josh Rackless, but also it's because I interview celebrities and and you were saying, yeah, but you should be interviewing regular people. You don't have to interview celebrities. Anybody can be interesting. You can find the interesting things, and that's kind of still what I want to do. And I thought, the name Celebrity Josh is still kind of funny. It sounds like a talk show, and anybody can be a celebrity, and I can make a celebrity out of anyone, or whatever. It doesn't really mean anything. I don't know what the perfect title for something would be, but yeah, talking to regular people would be cool. Although that's what I'm struggling with, because there are a lot of people who would want to chat, and I'm like, but do I have to talk to everybody? Because not everybody's, even just in regular life when it's not a show, not everybody's that interesting to talk to. Like you could sit in the phone for someone with half an hour and go, this is, I don't even want to be listening to this, much less, putting it out there in the world. So
There
that's what
will
I'm going to
be
be
hit
struggling.
and miss. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is with the internet, it's not costing me anything to do other than my time, and then it's not costing anybody else anything to listen. And if they don't want to listen, they can just tune out at any time. Like, people are like, oh, you can't make it too long. It's like, well, if you wanted to listen to this for 36 minutes, you can. If you wanted to leave after the first 10 seconds, you can. So I think it's fine. Uh, Whatever. I remember when I was shooting commercials years ago, we were shooting one in Miami, and the director was like, "Man, I wish I could just follow you around and listen to your thoughts about everything all day. Like that would be like you're just fascinating kind of thing." And then now that's what technology allows. Like I can, in my Instagram story, I can be like, "Hey, here I am. This is my thoughts about my lunch. This is." Or like what you and I are doing right now. It's like having a phone call. There was although I should look up that director again and say, would you still want to listen to me, or now that you can see what that would be, and is that something you're interested in? But there was a radio show called what was it called? Wiretap, years and years ago on CBC. And it was this Jewish comedian from Montreal, I think. And what I didn't realize, because I'm pretty naive, I thought the show, because it was just it was like wiretap, so it's like when you tap somebody's phone. So it was basically recordings of someone's phone, um, and 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 I thought it was real. I thought he was actually calling friends and having these fascinating discussions. But as I've gotten older, I've realized no, there was probably some of it was improvised, but it was staged. It was actors. He was pretending to call a friend or his mom and whatever. But I found it interesting. So
As
maybe
you
this.
said, there are so many people today willing to end up on YouTube, willing to make a name for themselves slash become a brand, that you will have zero issues finding anyone who are willing, who with the promise of talk to me, you will end up on YouTube. I'll do all the work. Everyone wants to have that.
Oh
Even
yeah,
me,
I mean,
by the way.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly, clearly. I mean, it's not everybody. Some people I'll message and they'll be like, oh well, I'm not that interesting. What would I talk about? But then for sure, there's plenty of people like, yes, I'll talk to you, and then it becomes okay. Well, how much time do I have in my day and in my life? And what do I get out of it? Like, because there is the downside. It's like okay, I got to spend half an hour talking to somebody and posting it, and it's going to be boring. So, yeah, I've got to find I guess a balance between who do people, because like even Joe Rogan, if he's not talking about anything, like it would still be interesting to listen to him talk about nothing with Elon Musk or Robert Downey Jr. because those are rich, interesting people that people want to hear what they have to say. Or if Jimmy
because
Kimmel's,
they
yeah,
already have their own brand at their core. They have already a die-hard population of followers
right,
that, regardless of what they do or say or act up on, they will look at it. Even if Elon Musk would spend 15 hours standing still on YouTube doing nothing, they will still look at it.
yeah, exactly. So
So
that's what I'm torn between. And I'm also, that the mom dropping off I wonder if she's a single mom. She's cute, and I feel like I've missed my chance with her because
Oh,
when she
we're deviating so much.
well, when she got out of her car, she waved at me like she knew me, and I'm like, oh, I guess she's just waving because I live next to her. That must be her dad's house, or so. I should ask him later. See, that's the problem with me. Every woman I see, I'm like, maybe that was my chance, and now I'm stuck talking to you. I could have been like, oh, how's it going? Like, you want me to help you raise your kids? I blew it. But maybe the right person will hear my podcast and go, you know what? You're the man for me. You're clearly.
I'm not sure attacking anyone with "I'm single, I'll help you raise your kids" will work with anyone.
Right. That's where you get restraining orders. Yeah. Okay. So, here, let me go back to what you were just saying there, and then we'll talk about how you met your wife. And people would watch Elon Musk just sort of sit there and stare at a wall or whatever. That's true. So, so what is my show? Because I'm not big enough yet that Elon Musk would come on my show, or Robert Downey Jr. And I've also found that even sort of celebrities I sort of know or on Instagram, I've talked to them or whatever, they have to check with their PR people because it's like you sort of have, Obama's not just going to come and chat with me because there's risks to that. Like, who's this weirdo on the internet? How's that going to be for his brand? That kind of thing. On the other hand,
calling out girls on the street, I will raise your kids.
Yeah, exactly. 1 minute, Barack Obama. Yeah, hey, I'll raise your kids with you. And, doesn't make him look that good. On the other hand, if I'm doing a show where I'm literally just interviewing any loser who has time on their hands and needs somebody to talk to, who wants to listen to that, I guess it's a middle ground. I don't know. I mean, it better be to start somewhere, right? Although they say that a lot of these people, like Joe Rogan, who is big, I mean, he had a TV show though. I guess that's you got to do something to get there first.
He started somewhere, so
yeah. But
you need to start somewhere.
He was also an early adopter, I guess, because he was the first podcaster. He built the big audience. Or they say like Perez Hilton became big doing his celebrity blog because he was kind of early on when blogs were kind of new. Or who else is big? Or like Howard Stern, like the way I guess I saw his movie a long time ago, the movie about his life, and because it was the early days when there weren't a lot of shock jocks, or whatever he did was kind of it was a beginning of it. Like, it would be harder. Would he be able to do that now? On the other hand, people can get big on the internet in 2 seconds. Like, on the other hand, it helps to be a young person. Like Justin Bieber got discovered and then he built his career because he put a song on YouTube. Or there's a girl that was again mentioned on the Philip DeFranco show who a few months ago posted like 2 videos of her about living in a van, and she got 1 million subscribers in a month, and now she's famous and whatever. But it helps to be an attractive 20-year-old girl living in a van.
Yeah, we missed that.
We missed that window. Nobody wants to look at me living in a van. That's just...
That's not true. In fact, that's not true, because there are plenty of guys. Like, look at Linus Tech Tips. The guy does, I don't know how many $1 million a year. He's a Canadian guy. He has a niche, which is computer electronics or consumer electronics, super geeky. His entire team is super geeky too, but super knowledgeable. And I follow him, and he's not appealing physically, not to me anyway. But he provides value.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
He provides some kind of value / entertainment that is enjoyable to look at.
All right. See, well, there's the difference. And see, yeah, I mean, and that's, I guess, again, I'm always looking for the easy way out. Like, if I was a attractive 20-year-old girl, I could just post myself sitting in a bikini and people would be like, yeah, I'd have millions of followers. But when you're a grown man...
There are millions of people like that on Instagram.
That's true.
They are all not rich. They are all not whatever.
That's true. Yeah. So you still have to provide value. I guess I'm like, oh, if I was cute, I could just do whatever. But, as somebody who's not a bikini girl, well, okay, you provide value. So if I did know something, or if I did an actual show about, you would watch it because, you get tech tips. But also, I'll watch Bill Maher because I find his sense of humor interesting, or I'm interested in the topics.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anybody can do it. You
Or
can sit
do
here
your
and
podcast in bikini.
in a bikini. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, why
Start doing
not?
podcasts in bikini, in a jacuzzi or something.
You know, literally, I thought of that a few years ago. I was going to call it Hot Tub Talk, and I was looking into whether I could put a hot tub on my balcony or whether I could do it in the condo hot tub, and I would interview people in the hot tub. Because then I thought, okay, that's a way to get cute girls in a bathing suit, and people would listen to that. And actually, there's a video. If you go to youtube.com/celebrityjosh, that's a video I did when I first made up the name, because I came up with the name. Actually, a friend of mine who listens to my podcast or my 2 episodes, she's like, "Don't tell the same stories, like, because if people are listening again, they're gonna hear the same one." I'm like, so I feel like I've probably told this before, but I came up with the name because somebody at my ad agency where I was working was like, "Do one of your little celebrity or do a web series pretending you're a celebrity hunter." So I came up with one of the ideas. It's like I'm gonna get a cute girl in a bikini that I'd cast in a commercial previously. And we sat in the bikini and I interviewed her, and I thought that, and actually that does have a lot more views than the other videos I posted on the thing. So it worked. I talked to this comedian, David Steinberg, I think is his name. Somebody gave me his number and I was in LA and I called him, and he used to fill in for Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show. And I was, I guess this is like 10 years ago, but I was complaining about the same thing. I was like, you know what? I follow this girl who's called Script Girl on YouTube, and she talks about what scripts are being worked on because she works at an agency of some sort, but she's got crazy cleavage she's always showing. And I'm like, she gets views because she's a cute girl. And he's like, so get a cute girl to sit beside you. I was like, oh, that's true. So that's the thing. Like if there's anything you don't have, you know, hire someone or get a partner that can provide that. So there's always that. But I think what you're saying is true. Like there is so much cute girls all over the internet. You can't just rely on that.
And is it a sustainable brand? I mean, past a certain point,
Yeah.
life will have its effect on you. So you won't be 20 years old forever. So you will
Yeah.
have to recycle yourself in any way possible.
Yeah.
And it's not good commodities. If you want to have an analogy on that, it's not a good commodity if you are only banking on that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not that I'm a model that's an option for me, but it's funny.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but as I've been sitting here, you know, in quarantine thinking about things, I realized that, yeah, I wish I was 20. It was Frosh Week. But even if I was, even a 20-year-old is only 20 for 12 months. Like time moves. Like even if it's your Frosh Week, it's that week and it's done. Like nothing is permanent, right? You still have to live. And I think the smart models, like if you look at, who's this girl I like following? She was in that, she's got this really long name, Emirata. I don't know. You ever see that video with
Emily Ratajkowski, something like
yeah,
that?
yeah. I think her Instagram is Emrata, or whatever, like, because it's short for
Okay.
that. But if you look, she's got her own clothing brand or swimwear brand. I guess she models it, but she's always posting that because I think, you know, she must have a sense that she's the cute young thing now, but in 10 years she'll be 30 or whatever she'll be, right?
So it's been a few years, and I think that she might work out like 10 hours a day or something like that to have the body that she has. And congrats, because I don't spend 10 hours on the gym, but it's a ton of work. Regardless, if you want to do anything, it's a ton of work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You keep coming, you know, I keep coming back to what's the easy, simple way to whatever. But, well, if you work, I mean, if you look at Mark Wahlberg, he's another guy that he's probably exactly my age. Yeah, he was on James Corden recently showing, like, James got up to do the same workout. But Mark's up at like 3 a.m. and works out for a couple of hours and then does another workout at noon. Like, it's, of course, and maybe says, oh, it's so easy, he's rich and he's got a gym and it's no, but it's still work. Anything's work, and there's no excuse
If you are lazy, that's I realized that when I was when I was younger. If you cannot wake up, you cannot wake up. Regardless you're rich or poor, if you're an idiot and you don't want to wake up, you will miss the workout, you will miss the school, you will miss whatever, and the opportunity to better yourself.
Yeah. So it's true. Yeah, you gotta work at it, and you'll get. Yeah, sure, some people have advantages or are born beautiful or whatever, and maybe some people have a a big break. Like, you know, if Jennifer Lawrence hadn't been cast in her first thing, then maybe she wouldn't have been famous. Because
so the recipe is not enough. Is not enough with work. You need work plus timing plus a little bit of luck plus the right people plus the right mindset plus the right network. There is a ton of variables that are required for your success.
Yeah, there's that, and then I guess the other thing I need to work on is just deciding what would be what's enough for me to be happy, kind of thing. Like, you say, okay, you know, it's like I won't be happy unless I'm a billionaire. Well, then maybe you'll have troubles. But also, all these celebrities make videos, like Cameron Diaz has one, or some quote or something like, I wish everybody could get rich and famous so they would know that's not the answer. I'm like, well, that's not what I want to hear, because it's the only thing keeping me going. Like, if I'm told that, you know, once you get rich and famous, you'll still be unhappy, well, what hope is there for anything? I don't know.
I'm not sure that money brings happiness.
No, I'm sure
it
doesn't.
It's a dick move to say so, because I'm fortunate to have a house, a wife, a kid, a stable life. But anyway, it's not the result, because you'll spend 10, 20 years to build that. And if you don't enjoy those 10, 20 years, what if after those 10, 20 years of hard labor, you end up with a seizure or whatever, and you cannot enjoy? What happens then?
Yeah, no, for sure. Exactly. You got to appreciate each day. You can't be like, and that's the thing. Like, I read all these Instagram posts about, you know, you hustle for 20 years and then you can be rich and you can be like Warren Buffett. But, well, do you think Warren Buffett
There's only one Warren Buffett, by the way, so.
Yeah, and he's like 80 or something. Would he rather be 20 and poor, or 80
and he's still working? He's so.
He's still working because he enjoys it. I think, like, if you look at Clint Eastwood, he doesn't need to be directing. Seinfeld doesn't need to be making.
Yeah, but that's the entire point. Warren Buffett, 80 years old, something, more than billionaire, has the world. He knows everyone. I've seen almost all of it in terms of work. Do you think he wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh my God, I'm $10,000 short. I need to go back to work and I need to hustle"? No, he just enjoys being with his colleagues and doing what he does.
Yeah, here, 1 second.
Josh, I think it's the perfect break because I need to run. I have another meeting.
Oh, sorry, I was just moving my bag. Okay, but that's good. We talked for 52 minutes. I think that's
more than enough.
More than enough, but I think we got into some good philosophical discussions, and we can hopefully talk another time. And yeah, so everybody go to getapy.com and sign up. And I don't know. The only thing I have right now is Josh Got It, JoshGotit.com, and I'm going to start like a newsletter on how to make money online. And it's a website where you can build your own website to make money. That my friend has like this website service that she makes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's what people can do. That's my sponsorship plug. Okay, so have fun with your. I didn't even hear if my earphones were out, but I'm sure you're going to another meeting. So we'll talk later. Thanks for being on Celebrity Josh. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Josh.